Coming up next, believe it or not, our field host Gary Lumpkin is going to try water skiing on the Mississippi River today.
Also here in our studio, comedian Louie Anderson is here, and Dr. Michael Brain. You know, there are some great bloopers that have happened over the past year, 1984, on the Good Company show. So today, we thought it would be fun to show you some of those bloopers, like the time that we were at the State Fair this year. There we are, and, well, the goat kind of surprised us.
Well, why don't you give me a couple of tips? Well, take us over to the goat. So are you going to show, or what's...
Omni's good at something else.
Yeah. We'll move right here.
Oh, Prado Pups. See, you're repeating the thing, Prado Pups. That's the problem.
And Twin Cities comedian who is making it big nationally, Louie Anderson, is with us today, straight from The Tonight Show.
I can't stay long. I'm in between meals, so bear with me.
And also on today's show, even though we have snow and cold, we have our field host Gary Lumpkin by the Mississippi River to, believe it or not, water ski. Gary, what's going on?
Well, Steve, it hasn't started yet, but behind me is the Mississippi River, and we will be water skiing later in the show, here.
Okay, Gary, that's great. There's
Looks
a whole
like
group
he's
of
dressed for
people. 25 people get together every year and water ski at this time. We're going to see what happens. That's right after this on Good Company.
From the Twin Cities, it's Good Company. With your hosts, Steve Edelman and Sharon Anderson. Field hosts Gary Lumpkin, Gary Schendel, and field reporter Beth Wood. And now, Steve and Sharon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome to Good Company, everybody.
Welcome, everyone. Do you have your New Year's plan? Sharon and I were just kind of discussing it extemporaneously, what we were going to do.
Yeah, we're still thinking about it. I don't know. I hope we can get reservations once we figure out what we want to do. There's a big pressure to make it special, you know? To make it a really special event and have memorable.
Yeah, something out of the ordinary, kind of surprising. And speaking of surprises, today our field host Gary Lumpkin, believe it or not, is going to, I understand, try water skiing on the Mississippi in all this cold and snow. And Gary is right there now. Gary?
Oh, hi there, Steve. Yes, a little bit later, as I said before, we're going to be water skiing. It's all a part of the Bald Eagle Water Ski Club that started 30 years ago at Bald Eagle Lake. Actually started, the New Year's Day skiing started with a bet 25 years ago, but we'll story about that now. Out here behind me right now, you can see, oops, I just slipped off into the water here. I've got a special suit on, but you can see that they have been breaking up the ice. These fellows are wearing wetsuits and dry suits, and they have literally, with jackhammers and chainsaws, broken off about 100 feet of ice so that they can get the boat in. The boat is in the water there behind me, and it's a New Year's Day tradition, and we're doing it a day early for the Good Company viewers, and I think I'm going to try it.
These folks do this for fun, huh, Gary?
Well, I'm standing. Can you see here I'm in the water?
Yeah.
Does it look like fun to you?
How's it feel?
Mostly cold, continued cold, and scattered cold, as put it in weather terms.
So we'll be back to you in just a little while to see what's going on there and see if you actually do get up on those skis.
Okay, it's a 50-50 deal right now.
Okay.
See you in a bit.
I somehow think he'll do it.
I think he'll try it too.
I think he will try it.
Is he a water skier?
I don't know.
He must be if he's going to try this one.
I don't know. He's a daredevil anyway. Whether he's a water skier or not, we'll find out.
Speaking of daredevils, our first guest today, comedian Louie Anderson, has just a fabulous story. A lot of you are familiar with it, and some may not be if you're not comedy fans. Louie Anderson is from St. Paul, Minnesota. Up until about 8 years ago, he was working here as a social worker, and then all of a sudden he decided, why not try his hand at comedy? Well, he did it here locally for years. 2 years ago, he went out to Los Angeles. He was on our show and said, well, this is it. I'm going out there to see what I can do. And he has become a sensation. Why? Because he's great and because he had a chance to be on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. Now, in just a moment, we're going to meet Louie Anderson. But before we do that, let's take a brief look at how his life has been up until this moment. And we're starting out with little Louie. We're starting out back in the year 1965, and there he is with his younger brother Tommy when Louie was 10 years old.
That was in St. Paul, the Roseville Housing Project, where he grew up. And there he is with his mom. This was just about 2 years ago. His mom's name is Ora, and she lives now in Nevada.
And there he is with Mr. T from the A-Team at the Comedy Store in Los Angeles. That was just last year.
And when Louie started out in Los Angeles, he was writing for some comedians, including Henny Youngman, and there he is with him.
And Father Guido Sarducci at Catch a Rising Star in New York City. He's been there with the greats, and he was on The Carson Show. Let's watch.
Sunday night. Would you welcome, please, Louie Anderson. Louie.
I can't stay long. I'm in between meals, so bear with me. Being in California, being fat, and try to get into this California life. Went to the beach the other day. Every time I'd lay down, people would push me back into the water. Hurry up, he's dying.
Welcome, please, Louie Anderson.
So nice to be back in Minnesota where, of course, you can die from this weather. And the weathermen make it bad, don't they? You know, today your skin could freeze in 3 seconds. You do what I do? You open that door, you put your hand out there. 1, 2. And the snow, it doesn't get any better. People actually die from this weather. That spring comes, that snow melts. Gee, there's Earl. You never made it home from that party. Those are good gloves. And people will too, I'll tell you, in the cars, they don't want to start, do they? You ever try to start your car in this weather? Or cart your star? It's terrible. The car actually talks to you. You go out there, try to start it. You start talking to it. Come on, baby, come on, start. Come on. You're on the junkyard tomorrow. Oh, no. Try to borrow someone's cables? Like cables? Oh, you could have the children, but don't take the cables. These are good cables, too. Going hunting with these next year. And you know you'll go out in that weather, too, especially if you smoke. If you're a smoker and you run out of cigarettes. It'll be 7 feet of snow. Well, 7-Eleven's not too far away. You get there, there's 50 people. Hi, how you doing? Got any cables? No, but I got a pack of Camels. You have to leave the 7-Eleven store, too, because if you don't, you stay there and eat another burrito and die. Why do we eat these things? There's no expiration date on them. The bomb hit it would go, oh, burritos. There's Earl. Is that a burrito there? That's still good. And the guys at 7-Eleven stores and those convenience stores, oh, now I don't go in there sounding like these guys, but you end up sounding like them. Well, what do you want? Well, what you got? Well, we got Slurpee. Well, what size you got? Well, we got this size, and then we got that 55-gallon drum. Well, what's the difference in price? A nickel. So there you are. Big soda, nowhere to set it. People looking at you in the car. Well, what would you do, lady? Nickel difference. And can you see them training these guys in from the 7-Eleven store? Big auditorium? All right, repeat after me. What do you want? Thank you very much. Great.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Welcome back.
Thanks. I should have brought you some of my shirts.
I know, they really work out nicely. Gee, it doesn't seem like it was that long ago. You were having your farewell to Louie Anderson concert.
Right.
Remember that night?
Yeah.
What was that, 2.5 years ago?
God, it was, wasn't it? About 2.5 years
And
ago.
you were on the show.
It
and
was
you were on
warm
your
then. It
way
was
to LA.
August. I was on my way to LA. You're
That's
right.
right.
Well, let's talk about that. When you got to L.A., how was it?
Fine, as long as I stayed this side of the fault. No, it was good. It was very hard, actually, at first. The first 6 months was difficult, but I have confidence, and I have that Minnesota determination, and you have to stick with things. I don't know.
Was it the comedy
I
store
couldn't come
that
back.
started
I
it
just
for
did
you?
my farewell thing.
That's right. It could have been a little embarrassing.
The comedy store, I worked there. Actually, the first few times I went there, it was a little rough. Then one night, Jimmy Walker happened to be there, and the owner and he were sitting, and they watched me, and Jimmy Walker liked me, and I started doing some writing for him, and I got to work more.
Let's take it all the way back to the beginning. For the people who don't know anything about comedy and don't
slap
follow
me?
the comedy scene, you know, you were a social worker.
I was a social worker. I worked with mean kids. You know those kids that like put you in a headlock, those bullies?
Yeah.
Got you in a headlock. What are you gonna do? Well, nothing. Well, all right then.
Quite the psychologist.
Yeah, I used humor to disarm those kids and to try to work with them, and
And that was here in the Twin Cities.
that was yes, in Minneapolis.
And then the switch was how? How did you make it into comedy?
Well, one night we were just out after the show, or I mean after the work, which was like a show. Actually, it was a short jump from social work to comedy. But we were out and there were some comedians, and I said, geez, I think I'm funnier than that. And of course, a friend heard that and went, oh yeah? And I did it on a dare and I tried it. And I've been doing it ever since.
You went to Mickey Finn's, which was the first comedy club in the Twin Cities.
Which
Oh,
is
right.
where I'm working this weekend. Or actually just today. I finished up this weekend. I have 2 shows tonight, one at 6:30 we added because we sold out the other one. So that was cool. That's where I started, a little tiny club. It's still a little tiny club. I'm bigger, but
How does it feel to come back and work the same club after doing the Tonight Show and lots of other
well,
television and film?
it feels about the same. I mean, you know, you work somewhere, it's like home. You know, it feels like home. So it's nice to see a lot of people, and it's probably the last time I'll get to play in that venue, in a little club setting. I'm going to be working with Joan Rivers on her tour coming up, and they'll be announcing that on the Tonight Show.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, I was really excited in that.
Speaking of
Could
the
we
Tonight
eat?
Show, yeah, any minute now.
No, that was the Joan Rivers joke.
Oh, yeah, I got it. Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Yes, can we eat? Right.
It's pretty cold out.
We're going to continue. We want to get back and hear about the 11 brothers and sisters and all that. And I mean, still, it's such an incredible story, really, that someone would come from the Twin Cities and from a social worker to become a comedian and toward the top there. I mean, yeah. We're going to break away and come back before we stay with us. Comedian Louie Anderson, who started here from St. Paul. He's been on The Tonight Show, and he's going to be on The Tonight Show again on Wednesday night, this coming. We got the TV guide right
Yes,
there.
I'm in the TV guide.
That's right.
I keep dropping it and going, hey, I'm in there.
Yes.
I was wondering if he's married.
Not right now.
No. Do you intend to?
Well, what do you
Oh,
do?
soon?
I think it's her husband there with the cables in his hands.
Yes.
Sharon?
Hi, I just want to say I think you're doing great, and I was wondering what high school you went to?
Johnson.
Great.
I used to roll the ice every day.
Did you say you grew up in Roseville?
I grew up actually in the east side. You know where the Roosevelt housing projects are?
Oh, Roosevelt, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
How do you prepare yourself for a show?
Well, a good meal. What kind of show? Like this show?
Well, yeah, if you get nervous or just something
I'm not too
special you do.
nervous, really. I don't feel nervous at all. I like people, and so it's comfortable for me. I try to prepare material that's appropriate, like here, the cold weather stuff, because we're all aware of it. You know, all of us had some trouble this morning just even thinking about going out. So that's what I try to do. Thank you.
Thank you.
How about for the Wednesday Tonight Show appearance with Carson? I mean, boy, you must have been thinking about that one.
Well, yeah, I'm gonna do 3 or 4 jokes about my weight, and then I'm gonna do that headlock joke. I'm gonna go into that, and then do some jokes about that, and some jokes about my mom this time. I did some jokes about my dad the last time, and I'm gonna do some jokes about my mom this time. So.
Now, how about when you sit down on the couch with Johnny? That's definitely going to happen? You know.
Well, you never. There's a rule where now there's 6 times on the show for a comic before he sits down. But I don't intend to let that happen.
6 times? So theoretically, you don't really know if you're going to sit down.
You never know. You really don't.
Yeah. Have you prepared things for if you do sit down, what you will say, or you just wing
I've
it?
thought of some things, but I try not to think any further than I'm going until I know. So.
Yes. Do you ever think about going back into social work or doing a little bit on the side?
No.
No, not at all?
No, I think about it sometimes. I miss it. There's parts, and then I get a heckler, and I straighten them right out. Yeah, I do. I do miss it a lot. That's a nice question.
How often do you change your repertoire of jokes?
Well, I try to change my lines all the time. I try to improve my comedy. Like if a line seems good, I might try it a little different, to help it along. But I try to stay fresh so I stay excited about what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'm going to do a new joke on Carson that I haven't done before, so I'm excited about that.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Do you think that coming from a family of 11 brothers and sisters had something to do with being a comedian?
Well, it has something to do with, some of that. My life was kind of different. I mean, my dad and my mom, and 11 kids is a lot of situations that are set up. So I use that in my act, of course, a lot. My dad, some of you know, is not the greatest guy in the world, but now I have more money than he does. So, no.
Well, the typical story you hear about a comedian is that he was very unhappy as a child, and that's why he went to comedy. Is that your story?
I'm kind of tired of that story. I mean, you hear that over and over.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there were some times in my life that were unhappy, but I think there were times in everyone's life that were unhappy. I think that's partial, but I don't think that's just it. I always hate to be just put into one category.
What's happened to you since The Tonight Show? How has that changed your career? That was, just 6 weeks ago?
Yeah. Well, I've gotten a lot of offers. I was offered a tour with Tom Jones, and I was offered 3 movie parts, and I was offered the Joan Rivers tour, and so that right there, that changes your perspective a lot.
How so? How do you feel you've changed in that 6 weeks?
Well, you're working every day, and that changes everything, because you don't always work every day when you're a comic. Now I'm working during the day on a movie I'm doing with Kevin Bacon called Quicksilver, where I'm a bicycle messenger, and then at night I do my stand-up comedy. So I'm excited. I'm in a new media, and I'm going to... I think the way it changed me most is the fact that I got to one of my goals, and that always makes you feel like you want to get to your next goal. So
you sure seem relaxed, Louie.
I am real relaxed.
Have you always been relaxed, or is that just coming from reaching your goals?
I think I've always been relaxed. I realize that you guys aren't... you don't have any less difficulties than I do. You don't have any advantage that I don't have. I think we're all just humans, and that we all have the same needs and wants, and you aren't going to hurt me unless I throw something at you.
You're right. I have a Wendy's here that I was about to throw at you.
Well, I'll catch that.
Okay. We should mention that Louie is going to be at Boomer's Comedy Club tonight. The 9 o'clock show is sold out, but you've added another one at 6:30.
At 6:30.
And there are still tickets available for that. There's a telephone number to call if you'd like to make reservations, and we do suggest you do make reservations if you plan on going, 379-3379. And, of course, we're going to see you on The Tonight Show this coming Wednesday night.
I'd like to thank everybody in the Twin Cities for the tremendous support. It's been wonderful.
Good luck, Louie.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Louie Anderson. know, we tape Good Company in the morning, but it's done as if it's done live, so that, you know, we just keep the tape rolling no matter what happens. And sometimes some things happen that we don't expect, and we just let the thing roll anyway, and that's what you see in the air on the air in the afternoon. Well, in a few moments, we're going to show you some of those moments.
But before we do that, it's time for Super Bargain number 1. This is a half-off deal at 7-Eleven. If you're thinking chips, yeah, 7-Eleven, do you believe it?
Perfect.
We hope this deal is still in effect. I mean, if they were watching the show earlier, I don't know, but we're hoping it's going to work out. And this happened before with 7-Eleven. We said something. Anyway, they're a 7-Eleven, a fine establishment, as you all know. All of their product is A1, including those potato chips and the dip. Now, that's the deal for chips and dip. We have Land O'Lakes dip, 8 ounces, and also Old Dutch potato chips. Now, they used to be, well, the Old Dutch potato chips usually cost $1.19. You can get those for half price. And the dip was 60 cents. You can get that for half price. And you can get the combination. Okay, that's the deal today and tomorrow while supplies last. Now, this is at all 62 7-Eleven locations, including St. Cloud and Sauk Rapids. That's a lot of people to be angry with us at one time. Anyway, there it is. Consult the telephone directory for the 7-Eleven nearest you and make sure you ask for the Super Bargain, and you will get that chips and dip for half price.
Good deal for parties.
That is a good deal.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, yes. Now it is time.
Now you have more to say here.
I knew she was looking at me. It was time for me to say something. Now it is time to talk about these kind of surprises that happen on the Good Company show. It's really kind of strange. Things happen. For example, every what is it, April Fool's Day, something happens to us technically that we're not aware of. You're going to see that on this tape. One year, the microphone blew up. One of our technical people actually rigged it up so the mic would blow up, so that happened. So you're probably wondering what happened in the year 1984. Well, let's take a look. Now, we're not exactly sure what order these bloopers are going to come up in, but we know they were bloopers. Oh, yes.
Before we switch to Gary, though, we want to tell you about our big super bargain for the day. Oh! Whoa! 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 What is that? Woo! You gotta be kidding! Uh-oh! It's gonna go!
Then there was General Alexander Haig, who just couldn't wait to get off the show and left me standing.
Cleared up. We want to mention again the name of the General's book. It is called Caveat, and it's available here around the Twin Cities. Thank you, General, for joining us.
Good. It's been nice to be with you.
General Alexander Haig.
When Cabbage Patch doll expert William Hoffman judged our Cabbage Patch look-alike contest, we didn't expect him to describe the entries as ugly.
William, I think you just made a faux pas. We're doing a Cabbage Patch look-alike contest. We have only 600 entries. You just said they're all ugly. Now, this could make you unpopular with some of the viewers who send in those look-alike kids there.
Well, they're ugly, but they're lovable too and huggable.
Stuck to your guns, William. I wouldn't have done that.
Sometimes we set up surprises for our guests, like a phone call for Fran Tarkington.
I just defied those big
Fran, you better get this. Let's try it again.
Hello, Bud. This is me. No, I'm not coming back to play, Bud. If you'll come back to coach, I'll come back to play. Thank you.
Oh, better hold on. Who is it?
Hello? Hello. It is somebody.
Who is it?
Yes, it is. Guess what?
Well, I know who this is. This is my mother. How about that? Well, how are you?
And Dr. Michael Breen didn't know that we'd been talking to his wife, Patty, before he appeared on the show one day.
One of Michael's favorite things that he's really well known for, even throughout the newsroom, is his ability to look at himself. He's known to not be able to get past a reflective surface without primping, and he'll deny that. But we have a room in our house that I call the Michael Breen Room of Reflection, purely because it's all mirrors.
Any surprises for you in that?
Well, I thought she was my fan. But I was coming on. I thought you would tell you how great I was.
Maybe she knows all that stuff and she's still your fan. How about that?
I thought she wanted to stay married. We got a kid on the way. She's saying all these
People may be unpredictable, but when we had some four-legged guests on our state fair shows, we shouldn't have been surprised at the results.
Holding a beautiful creature here who is, to introduce us to our heifer here.
This is Windwalker's Royal Magnet.
And for short?
Windwalker.
Windwalker. Beautiful, beautiful animal. Now, she's a winner, I understand, huh? What did she win?
She won Champion Angus last night in the FFA show.
What happened, Steve?
Well, I got a little problem here. You see, these cows have been hanging around here since early this morning. And these cows are having problems. And my buddies here told me about it a little too late.
They're just doing what cows do,
Watch
Steve.
me a step, Sharon. It's trouble.
Now, I've never done any goat milking before. You're kind of an expert at it, aren't you?
I'm pretty good at it. Yeah.
Okay. Well, why don't you give me a couple of tips? Well, take us over to the goats.
Okay.
Are you going to show, or what's?
Omni's good at something else.
Yeah. We'll move over here.
Oh, Prado Pups. See, you're repeating the thing, Prado Pups. That's a problem.
First, I'll show Steve how to milk.
It's inevitable. Every year at the fair, that happens.
That's true. You know, talking about surprises, you saw Dr. Michael Breen there with his wife. Well, Dr.
One of
We'll
those
run that
days,
one next
isn't
year.
it? Yes.
Dr. Michael Breen is here now, and in just a few moments, he's going to give us a look at some of the medical breakthroughs for '84 and where they're going to go. The question of Baby Faye, what's going to happen with that? The question of William Schrader and his heart, what's going on with that situation? And also, there's something they've been talking about called folic acid, which has something to do with cancer and is absolutely sold out in the Twin Cities. What is folic acid and what's going on with it? All that's coming up right after this. Stay with us.
In just a moment, Dr. Michael Breen is with us. He's going to be talking about major medical breakthroughs of 1984 and what that's going to mean to us in the future, some of those. But first of all, we're going to check up on Gary Lumpkin, who's on the Mississippi River. He's just south of the Ford Dam at Hidden Falls Park. And Gary, it hasn't warmed up too much out there, has it?
Well, no, it hasn't warmed up very much at all. You know that song, you like to beat your feet on the banks of the Mississippi mud?
Yeah.
Well, it loses something when you beat your banks. No, you beat your feet on the banks of the Mississippi ice. Well, you get the idea anyway.
It does.
But over my shoulder, you can see that the boat is there. They've had a couple of skiers out already. Right now, as fate would have it, there aren't any skiers, but we're trying something a little bit extra. We're going to put a camera, in addition to the camera I'm talking to right here, we're also going to put another camera there in the boat. So I think I am going to ski, and we'll get a real close look at what it's like to ski in water that's 32.1 degrees.
So there'll be no cheating at all. That camera will be right on you and we'll know it's you.
That's right. No video tricks. I'll be the one that's frozen like this.
Okay, well, we'll let you get going and get ready to do that. Get warmed up a bit if you can, huh?
Okay, good. Tell Dr. Breen you introduced him. Tell him to stick real by because he may have a hypothermia case on his hands.
No. Okay, good luck. We'll be back with you in a few minutes.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thanks, Gary. Steve?
Thanks, Sharon. We do have Dr. Michael Breen here with Medical Breakthroughs for '84. We looked at some a couple of weeks ago, but now we're going to look at the implications of some of these breakthroughs. For example, what is going on with William Schrader and his artificial heart, and what's going to be happening in the future. Would you all welcome, please, Dr. Michael Breen. Thanks very much. Thank you. Mike, before we get into all that, you know, we showed that blooper or whatever with your wife talking about you in the mirror room.
Right.
How did you actually handle that when you got home? What, you just laughed at it or what?
Well, I laughed it off. I mean, what am I going to do? I can either divorce her or I can laugh it off.
Right.
And the bottom line is that I suppose it's true. I mean, she's not the only one who tells me that sometimes I'll walk past the newsroom and I'll be looking at myself through a reflective glass or something, and I just learned to put up with it. I don't know.
Just one of those weird, quirky things.
People give me a hard time about it, and she's not alone. The bottom line is when something is true, you have to acknowledge it, and that's the way it is. I have no reason for looking at all these glasses, but I tend to do it for whatever reason.
Well, that's great. I mean, just admitting it shows you're a big person. And I just happen to have a mirror.
I'll admit I'm a big person. Okay.
Let's get to these. We're talking about these medical breakthroughs, starting out with the artificial heart and William Schrader. What is his condition right now?
Well, his condition is still stable, but you know he's had a stroke, and his life is not going to be as optimistic as he hoped it would be. He's not going to be walking around using this, playing golf as quickly as people had hoped. But Schrader is important really to this area because many people don't know it, but very likely the next site to do an artificial heart operation is going to be Minneapolis, St. Paul. And we're going to have to deal with all the medical and ethical issues that people are grappling with right now. in Louisville, Kentucky.
Do you mean that those people who did it in Kentucky are going to come here and do it, or another team is going to do it?
Well, it's another team will do it, but it'll be a team from what's called the Minneapolis Heart Institute in Minneapolis. See, we have connections with that artificial heart operation. The valve that's used in that heart operation. First, before I go into this, let's take a look at the heart itself, because I'm about to talk about the valve. There's the heart made out of a plastic. You're looking at the connection that it makes with the aorta, and there are valves. You see 4 valves there. 2 of those valves are made by a local company called Medtronic. And because the heart is made, partially at least, by a local company, and also because the assisting surgeon on Barney Clark's operation now practices in Minneapolis and is one of the few people in the country who can do this procedure, Minneapolis is making a strong bid to become the second site of an artificial heart implant. And that means you've got to deal with, first, probably the publicity, but more important, the ethical issues here. When has someone gotten the proper information that allows them to make an informed decision as to whether they should get the operation? You could argue that William Schrader got a 17-page list of all the possible complications he got, and he was well informed. But it's very easy to argue that anybody who's at the brink of death, really there's no such thing as informed consent. And we'll have to deal with that. We'll also have to deal with the issue of the fact that there's only so much money to go around, there are only so many resources out there, yet we've created expectations in the public's mind that everybody, if they need it, can get an artificial heart like this.
And how long was he supposed to, I hate to say this, but live with the artificial heart? I mean, even if it were totally successful, a year?
Well, the RAND Corporation, a think tank, has said that even if the artificial heart's perfected, it'll extend the average life expectancy only 6 months of the average person who gets it. Now, that's disputed by people who do this operation. There's a second source of hearts that I want to talk about that's just as controversial as the artificial heart, maybe more so, and that is a baboon heart. And boy, on many levels, that is getting people very, very excited. And a girl, Baby Faye, we have a picture of Baby Faye, and it shows you, kind of humanizes what is otherwise a very abstract discussion. But she was only a few days old when they saw that without this operation she would die, and she received a baboon heart. And you've got a lot of problems. You're seeing her here now, just a few days after the operation. She looked very healthy at that point, but people like Dr. Najarian at the University of Minnesota, they knew almost immediately that she was doomed, that as soon as any signs of rejection showed up at all, she was not going to make it. She was a long shot from the very beginning. And you've got here the ethical question: do parents have the right to make a decision that, where the odds are stacked this much against a child, on behalf of the child? You can argue that that Baby Faye was at the edge of a cliff, and there was a lion on one side of the cliff, and there was a 200-foot fall on the other side. And her parents elected to take their chances with the fall, kind of like a modern Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. But does anybody, any parent, have the right to make that decision on the basis of their child?
Will there be baboon hearts implanted in humans in the next year?
There's almost no question it'll occur. Now, Leonard
Will
Bailey,
occur?
it will occur. Now, it'll be a baby again. Leonard Bailey says, who is the surgeon who did this at Loma Linda, says he's prepared to do 5 baboon heart procedures before he makes any decision about whether it's effective or not. So, and you've got a condition, which in this case is called hypoplastic left ventricle, in which babies will die in the first few weeks of life unless something is done. So the need is going to be there, the opportunity is going to be there, and then well, we could go on and on, but what about the baboons? The animal rights advocates say, should baboons be sacrificed for what is a really long shot procedure?
The last thing that we just have a moment to touch on is folic acid. You were on our program, you talked about it. You were on the news, you talked about it. We went out to try to get some today and couldn't find it anywhere in the Twin Cities. What's the story?
Well,
what is it, first of all?
Nothing has changed. Folic acid is a very, very common vitamin that is found in most B-complex vitamins. But a world-renowned mainstream researcher at the University of Minnesota found that folic acid stops chromosomes from breaking. And the breaks in chromosomes appear to be related to cancer. Now, if this came out of some peripheral kind of research that was not mainstream, not well accepted, not published in medical journals, we would laugh it off. But this is, his name is Dr. George Eunice. He's perhaps the most well-known researcher on an international basis at the University of Minnesota. And his results, he felt in his own mind, were so important that he felt obliged to go to the public and give them.
So what's the claim? That folic acid does what?
The claim is that folic acid prevents the breaks that causes many, many cancers and therefore may prevent those cancers from occurring. Now, there are almost no side effects to this medication except for two that we're obligated to mention. One is older people who take folic acid. It may mask another condition called pernicious anemia, which can be very, very dangerous. And the second possible side effect, people with epilepsy who are taking anticonvulsants, anti-epilepsy pills, should watch out because folic acid can also have an effect on that.
And we are going to hear more about this story when? When is something going to come out?
I'd say in the next few months. We could talk forever about this, but let's end it here by saying that in the next few months you'll hear more about this blood test and you'll hear more about whether folic acid in humans doesn't just prevent the chromosome breaks, but prevents the cancers themselves. Right now the evidence is suggestive, but very, very strongly suggestive.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Steve.
Dr. Michael Breen.
Coming up this week on Good Company, on Wednesday, bargain hunter Vicky Audette previews a sale where you can save 50% and over on a new winter coat.
On Thursday, a Twin Cities woman undergoes a dramatic hair color change in our beauty makeover.
Also on Thursday, we'll continue our special series on new dental breakthroughs with a look at a painless procedure that helps prevent cavities.
Coming up.
Another super bargain for you. If you're a little tired of cooking over the holidays, here's a chance to go out to eat for half price tonight or tomorrow. It's a super meal deal being offered to us by the Irish Elephant. Now, if you're not familiar with the Irish Elephant, it's located in downtown Minneapolis. It's a pleasant, modern restaurant. They have lots of brass on the inside and some booze, and it's a comfortable place to sit. And they're offering us a deal on some specials that they have, including their brunch. They specialize in sandwiches and soups and full entrees. And there's what you get if you go tonight. You will get their filet mignon, I think. Yes, usually costs $14.95. You will get it for 50% off. And there is what you will get if you go tomorrow. It is their brunch, and that includes chicken, beef, bacon, salad bar, fresh fruit, muffins, juices, the works. And there's the deal. New Year's Eve dinner, their filet mignon, normally $14.95. You will get it for 50% off. Or if you go tomorrow, New Year's Day, for brunch, you will get that, which includes salad, fruit, meats, breads. Normally $10.95 per person. You will get that for half price as well. So the deal runs today and tomorrow only. Two different things. Tonight is a different meal than tomorrow, while supplies last. So if you're interested in taking advantage of that, the Irish Elephant is the place, 330 2nd Avenue South. That's in Minneapolis, downtown. And be sure to call for a reservation because they'll probably fill up on this one. So call 338-2021 if you'd like to do that. And be sure to ask for the Good Company Super Bargain so you can get that for half price.
Okay. That's a very pretty dress you have on there.
Well, thank you. Nice? Kind of dressed up for New Year's Eve.
Mm-hmm. Where'd you get that, by the way?
This is from Maternal Instincts. They're supplying some clothes for me now for the show.
That's very nice.
Lake Street and Grand Avenue in St. Paul.
Pretty.
Thank you.
Okay, it is time for a little look at what you can do with your holiday decorations after the holidays. Well, you know, you can just toss them out, or you can do a few of these things. For example, number one, you can make a little piney sachet.
A piney sachet, huh?
Well put. Well,
yes.
First you take any kind of cloth, you know, that you have around the house that's colorful.
Old piece of cotton. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then, Sharon, take just the pine needles.
These old pine needles that you've taken off your Christmas tree.
And just dump them in.
Strip them off your tree, huh?
Okay.
And they still smell good.
All right. And then just, you know, kind of put it together and hold this for me, would you?
Okay.
And then tie it with some string.
What would you do without me?
Well,
wouldn't make too many
I wouldn't
piney
make too many
sachets.
sachets, that's right. And there. See, and then you can make it as nice as you want. When you're all done, you have something that looks like that. Or you have, you know, one of the, here's another one.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can have one that looks like that.
You just toss it in your underwear drawer and then it smells real good. Well, you do. What's so funny about that?
No, I think that's a great idea.
You would want this in your underwear drawer?
No, I would.
I
thought you were going to say toss it in your underwear. I mean, that's what I thought you were saying.
Well, I suppose if it came undone, you'd be in big trouble, wouldn't you, once these little suckers get hard?
Exactly.
That hurt. Okay.
Gee, that's a beautiful dress you've got there.
We'll start all over again.
We have a super bargain for you.
No, here's another idea that you can do with your pine needles if you're taking down your tree. This is called fresh pine smell to your linen closet, and it's kind of the same idea, only you do it on a grander scale. What you can do is take an old pillowcase and fill it with, not the whole bough, but you once again would strip off the needles as they get, as they get a little drier. Then they'll come off very easily. And you fill up a pillowcase or put a little bit in the bottom of a pillowcase
with
if you
the
like.
needles, not the whole bough. Is that what you're saying?
Not the whole bough. Probably best with just the needles.
Okay.
Okay. And then you can put it on a hanger like this and sew it across the top, as we've done here.
Does the scent stay?
And just hang it in your closet. I assume it does.
I mean, I don't know.
I guess we could just forget this whole thing if it doesn't.
Well, I figured maybe it's only good for a couple of weeks or something.
Well, I don't know. Has anyone ever tried this?
Huh? What do you mean? You don't have this hanging up in your closet? What do you have in your closet? Right?
Well, it sure smells good.
Yeah,
now,
it's a nice
anyway,
idea.
I don't know if it lasts
scent.
or not, but you might as well try it and then tell us if it does or not.
Okay.
Okay, let's try another one.
All right, we have another one. What do you know? How about this? This was sent in by our own staff, which is good because they work here, so why not?
Tree.
Anyway, it's called Feed the Birds. And here's what you do. You take your tree outside. You just literally take the whole thing outside, and you put it down in your yard. And then what you're going to do...
The whole tree?
The entire tree.
Even if it's bigger than this?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, okay.
Just take the whole tree out there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make these little jobs to feed the birds, and it's like this giant bird feeder. And it's kind of attractive, too, I think. And all you do is you just take...
That's an interesting idea.
Isn't that a nice idea? You just take regular old popcorn, and you string it, as we have done, here. You just take string, and you... I've never done this before.
Well, a lot of people have done this already. They probably have it on their trees. A lot
Yeah.
of people string popcorn for their decorations.
And, that's no hard task. It's not
It
too
takes
hard.
some experience, though.
Yeah, it kind of does. How do you keep from shattering the kernels? Is there... Oh, wait a minute. You have to have a steady hand to do this. Let's try it again. Okay. Anyway, so you do this, and
There you go.
you can string the kernels around, and then if you want to, you do another whole string of cranberries. Is that what these are? Okay, cranberries. And
We have one right here.
oh, good.
Yeah,
So we can show it.
It started even on the red thread, so the birds, don't get confused.
Yeah, and you can alternate with the, in these, and then you just put them around your tree and set them out, and the birds love them. Nice idea, huh?
Yeah, nice idea.
Sharon's nonplussed, but the birds will go crazy,
So if you haven't thrown out your Christmas tree yet, here are a few things you can do with those Christmas trees.
That's right. Gary Lumpkin is going to go water skiing in the cold, believe it or not. So stay where you are. Whoop. That's right. We get this.
Coming up tomorrow in Good Company, Eyewitness News anchor Stan Turner with a look back at some of the top local news stories for 1984. Also, we'll review a new Twin Cities restaurant that features buffet-style dining at reasonable prices. And we'll show you some of the great bloopers from Eyewitness News 1984. Coming up next, our field host Gary Lumpkin attempts to water ski in the cold on the Mississippi River. That's just ahead.
In a moment, back to Gary Lumpkin, who says he's going to try water skiing on the Mississippi. We'll see. But first of all, we have a third super bargain for you today, and this is another chance to eat out at half price. Super bargain, a super seafood deal that's being offered to us by the Mariner. Now, the Mariner is located in Mendota, and they're offering us a super deal on seafood, specifically their Cajun specialty. They specialize in Cajun food here, and it's really interesting. They do have a tremendous variety of fresh fish and seafood, and they also offer a popular Louisiana regional cuisine. And that's what they're offering us today and tomorrow. It is their shrimp Creole. They have that for lunch and for dinner. Normally at lunch it's $7.95. At dinner it's $11.95. You can get it for 50% off today and tomorrow. So if you want to go there for dinner tonight, or if you'd like to go for lunch or dinner tomorrow, they will be open and they will be serving that for half price if you want the super bargain. And there it is, Mariner, downtown Mendota, off Highway 13. And there's the number to call, 542-1830, if you'd like to make a reservation. And be sure to ask for the Good Company super bargain if you'd like to try that Cajun specialty. It really is something special.
Every year at this time, believe it or not, there's a group of Twin Cityans that get together and water ski on the Mississippi River. Okay, it sounds strange, but it happens. And they're going to do it a day early for us because they're there right now with our field host, Gary Lumpkin. And Gary,
Hi, Steve.
Looks like you're all set with your skis.
You notice I got them on. I tell you, it is so cold out here. I talked to you earlier about a second camera. That camera froze, if you can believe that. So we only have this camera. And to get these skis on, they had to pour hot water to get the rubber to get them on. So it is, I don't know what the chill factor is, minus 20, something like that. But I'm standing next to Dutch Kosick. And Dutch is a member of the Bald Eagle Ski Club. Sorry, Dutch, I couldn't pass that out.
No, I guess not.
And 25 years ago, he and another fella had a bet, and just kind of tell me what happened.
Well, we had a bet because I had a problem at work with my sinus, so I said I can go water skiing, I just can't sit in the draft. Well, we tried it that year, couldn't get going, but the following year, 1960, we went out here on New Year's, and we've been doing it since. We've only missed 4 years out of the last 25.
So 25 years. Now, like I said, this year it's really a piece of cake, right? The ice.
Right. This was a cinch.
And they still had jackhammers and ice saws and worked. Well, in fact, over here, if you can just pan over, you can see members of the Bald Eagle Ski Club that have come here to help us today, and they'll all be skiing tomorrow. A couple of them kind of took a few turns today, but it took all these people a couple hours, and this one was an easy one.
This was an easy one. We've cut ice halfway across the river to get in.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. It's now or never. What's the trick?
The trick is to keep your tips up and your fanny down. That's the trick.
Well, I've never been able to do that yet, so I don't know why I should start now.
Okay.
I'll just
give him a hand there with that.
You just keep talking.
I'll keep talking if I can hear Sharon or somebody, Karen rather. Okay, now I can hear if they're saying anything. What's cooking back there?
Well, all set now. Have you given him some lessons there?
You're getting him in there now.
Oh, here he goes. He hasn't tried this yet, right?
I don't think they can hear us on their end.
Yeah.
Okay, as soon as they get us... we slipped out of it when...
What happened?
This is the little problem we have with winter skiing, keeping
That's
the bindings
okay, Gary
on.
can slalom.
Oh my gosh.
He's actually, I wonder if that's waterproof. That is the outfit that he has on, is it?
That is a dry suit, yes. He is actually dry inside of that. Most of us are wearing wetsuits, but the dry suits, like he has, you're perfectly dry in there and you're warm.
So he could even be in up to his waist and still be okay?
He can do what?
Be up to his waist.
He can get right in the water and it wouldn't bother him any.
And the water won't come in the suit.
No, it won't come in the suit. He's dry in there.
Any other special precautions that he has taken?
A few precautions?
Yeah, is there anything else he...
Yeah, why not? So
you
it
try to
comes
miss
out
the ice,
okay.
although we've actually skied across the ice as it floats by. He should go now. He's to the point now where he can go right between that ice.
Let's see if he does it.
Uh-oh.
Oh!
Oh, Gary.
Look at that suit float.
There is a little bit of a trick to, the first time is a little rough.
He's coming back for more. What? Oh, no.
I think
What
he
did
hit
he
his
do
head on
wrong
some
there?
ice there, the way it looks. I don't know. Has he got cut? It looks
Gee,
like
what happened there? I guess he didn't keep his fanny down and his tips up.
Yeah, I guess not.
I think that's what happened
He
there.
went head first there.
Ooh.
Ooh, brr.
Well, he gave it a good try. I'll tell you that. That's what you call it, bleeding for your trade.
I suppose we're out of time, huh?
No.
I don't know what happened. I think I hit a piece of ice or something. What did I do wrong, Dutch?
Well, I don't think you remembered to keep your tips up and your fanny down, but you got a little bit of a, well, I've had that too. You're bleeding on TV is what you're doing.
Bleeding on TV. Well, it'll freeze so fast. They say we got a couple minutes left. Let's try it again real quick. If we have to go away while we're doing it, then we just go away.
Here, are you okay?
Here's Dutch again.
You try sliding off this
He
time.
can't hear us. Whoa,
Yeah.
he is
Get back
pretty
away
brave to
and
try and
slide
do this
off. Get a
again.
little speed
What did he
up.
do? He must have hit some ice with his head while he was
No,
going
he went
up?
forward. He didn't
Well,
stay
it's-
back.
Yeah, but that,
Keep his tips
that
up.
It's
wouldn't
awful
have cut his
tough.
head.
Oh, he got cut?
Well, he said he was bleeding on TV.
Is he serious? He really was?
I think he's going to try sliding off the ice this time. That's a good way to do it if you know. But he
ask
should
Dutch
be
if
back a
Gary
little
looks
farther from the
okay.
edge. He should be back from the edge a little bit there. Get back from the edge. Okay.
Dutch, can you hear us?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. He should really be back from the edge though. He's got to get his speed up before he hits that water. Otherwise, his tips are going under.
Oh,
again.
wait a minute. He's not going to try to do a
running
standing start. Oh, this is crazy.
All right.
This is nuts.
Okay. Okay. He's getting ready. Tighten her
Oh,
up.
no.
Tighten her up.
Look
Tighten
out
her
for
up.
the ice, yeah.
Get that baby tightened up.
Here he goes, here he goes, here he goes.
Okay, go. All right.
Almost. Oh, boo.
Of course, never having seen Gary ski in the
Not too
summertime,
bad.
you know, we accept this as very easy, but this cold, that makes a big difference in how you operate, believe me.
Temperature 2, wind chill minus 31.
Oh, we better get him in here, I
that,
think.
Gary, come on back.
Yeah.
He can't do anything, but he couldn't give it a better shot than he did.
Yeah, he gave it a shot, all right.
Wow.
Well, he had a shower.
No. Well, let's hold on.
Let's get him in here and see how he is.
Yeah, let's see if we can get Gary on microphone there.
Here he comes now.
Let's just wait for him a second. I don't think he's very happy.
I can't hear him anymore.
You okay, Gary?
Well, I guess I'm 0 for 2. What can I say?
It was a gallant try.
Yeah, and no 3 strikes are out. Gallant try.
How do you feel, Gary? You okay?
I'm really cold, as you might expect.
Yeah, maybe.
But I gotta tell you, I heard you ask what I was wearing. This is a dry suit, and I'm fully clothed. I've got a sweater, a turtleneck, jeans, and long underwear underneath. And I'm really dry underneath.
But your hair is an icicle.
Well, as a matter of fact, I guess it is.
Yes.
Better go in, Gary.
Oh, well, so much for this. Hey, by the way, they're out here all day, all tomorrow morning. If you want to come and watch them, and they'll do it right.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank you, Gary.
He's a brave
Whoa,
guy.
he is.
Can you believe he did that? Wow. But as he
Isn't
said,
that
if you want to see them do it, they're going to be there tomorrow.
Yes, it's called the
morning.
Bald Eagle Club tomorrow morning. It's between 9 and 10 in the morning. They're going to be at the below the Ford Dam in Hidden Falls Park in St. Paul. That's New Year's Day. If you want to join them, they'd love to have you. That Gary's something. We'll be right back. We still can't get over that Gary, but I guess
can't believe it.
His clothes are dry underneath that, and he's fine.
So you have to chip away at his hair.
Yeah, right. Oh, brother.
Ooh.
So listen, we wanted to mention that you have a chance to go to Switzerland by being in our audience. Everybody here today and in the next upcoming weeks qualifies. What you will get is a week in Switzerland for 2. Round-trip air, a 4-star hotel, 7-day ski pass, many extras. And by the way, if you don't ski, if you want to, you can turn it into a summer vacation that can be substituted. So either way you like it. If you want to get in, call us at 645-3999. Tomorrow we will not be here, but you can call today or you can call Wednesday on. We'd love to have you in our audience. Call for reservations. You could win.
We won't be here, but we will have a show on the air tomorrow because
Yes.
we taped that already. So we'll be here on New Year's Day. And on that show, we're going to have some funny goofs from Eyewitness News. We're going to take a look at some bloopers that have happened with the Eyewitness News team.
Also, that's Gary Lumpkin escaping from the TP of death. You know, he's tried some weird things. And we'll show you the best of '84.
And also, Eyewitness News anchor Stan Turner is going to be here, and he's going to be talking about the top local news stories of 1984 and what significance those will have on our lives in 1985. 85 will be here tomorrow.
That's
So,
right.
Man, have a very safe,
Yes, fun-filled
New
and
Year's
very
Eve.
safe New Year's. Thank you for joining us. Have fun. Bye-bye.
Good night.
For information about what you've seen on Good Company, call The Connection at 922-9000. That's The Connection, where friendly operators will also connect your call directly to the business or service you're looking for. That's The Connection, 922-9000.